Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And today's video is going to be a mini haul and unboxing and first impressions of two fragrances that I've actually been sitting on for some time. So I'm about 2 weeks into Ramadan, and part of my intentions this Ramadan for fasting is also fasting from fragrance purchases. So I'm not making any more purchases this month, but I've had these two just kind of sitting in my drawer unboxed for a period of time. I picked them up over the winter, but they're two summer fragrances. I was waiting till the summertime to try them out, but forecasts say we're going to be about 80 degrees where I'm at in the Midwest here next week, so maybe want to try these out when the weather kind of starts peaking. Anyways, without further ado, I've got for this video, we've got Pacific Rock Moss. Got a really good deal on this one, so I picked it up in the winter time. It was like 120 on Aura fragrance. Usually goes for a little over 200, so definitely wanted to jump on that deal when I could. And also, we've got a tester bottle of YSL Eau Fraiche. I picked this up for $60 on eBay. Won it in a bid, actually, so it wasn't a buy it now price. So again, got a really good price on this one. I think this one might be discontinued, the Eau Fraiche. I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on that, but I know it's kind of hovering around $100 on discounters anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with the Pacific Rock Moss. I haven't looked at any of the notes on either of these. I think the only thing I could tell is that this one might have a moss accord in it, and then I think the Eau Fraiche might have a ginger note. But we're just going to go ahead and kind of see what kind of accords I get off of these. I think, okay, the bottle kind of slides out of the little wrapping there, and then kind of has like one of these more niche style sitting in kind of like an amouage box almost. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that out. Okay, pretty good presentation. I think this is really slick. I think this is really you know, ideal for summertime. This would look great sitting kind of like in a maritime kind of themed environment if you've got that going on in your house anywhere. Really nice juice color, kind of like a cork cap. I think it might be plastic, but it's got like a little bit of a texturization of like wood. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this one on my right hand here and see how this one plays out. I'm gonna let that settle in for a minute while I go ahead and get the Eau Fraiche opened up. So the only one I've tried from the Y line so far is EDP. I've worn a good amount of it. I'm probably about halfway through that bottle. Big compliment puller, but it's a little bit synthetic for my personal taste, so it's not my favorite personally, but something that I do wear when I'm just trying to be, you know, inoffensive in some sense, or just complimentary to my environment. Haven't worn it in a long time. I think I might break it out some more during the spring, which is like my ideal time for it, but we'll go ahead and put this Eau Fraiche on the left hand here. Got kind of interested in this one. I saw Gerard George talking about it. I think he got a good deal on it at maybe like Saks Off Fifth or Nordstrom Rack or something like that, and he said that he didn't really care for the Y line either, but this one in particular kind of really you know, stood out to him out of the line. So I'm just kind of let the Eau Fraiche kind of settle in. I'm gonna go check out the Rock Moss here. Okay, seems very faint. I almost can't smell anything. I don't know if my nose is just clogged up from allergies at this time of the year, but yeah, maybe I'll just try spraying that one on one more time. Maybe like the introduction was kind of sitting on the top of the, or stuck in the nozzle there. I think that happens from time to time. Go one more spray. There does seem to be a lot of oils on it though. My hand is has like a good amount of sheen on it. I'll go ahead and check out the Eau Fraiche. Okay, so this, yeah, this is pretty awesome actually. It's not quite as synthetic as the EDP. It's a lot more woody than I was expecting. Yeah, very clean. Not very aquatic at all. Yeah, just very fresh, almost like a clean laundry kind of vibe, but with a slight, I don't know if it's a fruity texture. I know that the EDP had an apple note in here. I'm not quite getting that prominent of a fruitiness in here, but there's something, sweet. Like there's a slight sweetness in here, but it's mostly kind of like a fresh citrusy laundry, but the citruses aren't as pronounced as I was expecting either. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give that one more shot as well. And we'll come back and visit the Pacific Rock Moss. Yeah, maybe I'm still not really getting much off of this. It's almost, I must either be going nose blind, or it must kind of shine in the high heat when the sun's kind of hitting off your skin. Yeah, I don't know. Not really getting much of anything off of this at the moment. Go ahead and come back to the Eau Fraiche. Slight powderiness. Yeah, a lot more woody than I was expecting. I don't know if there is a ginger note in here. I thought that there was, but I don't get that kind of sparkly effervescence that I normally get off of a ginger note in a fragrance. Yeah, fresh, clean, woody laundry, like linens, like drying out on the clothesline in a breeze is kind of like the picture that this one's giving me. Okay, I'm actually going to stop the video here and then reconvene after I wear these two for a few more hours, and then get back to see how they develop and if this one really has any kind of scent profile coming out after I get a little bit used to it and maybe my nose calms down a bit. So I'll see you here back in a few hours. Alright, so we're back after sitting with these fragrances for a little while. I actually filmed the first half a couple days ago. I did get a full wearing out of Pacific Rock Moss, and I've yet to get a full wearing out of YSL Eau Fraiche. But I only did the full wearing of this one because on that initial impressions there, I couldn't smell it at all. I think maybe because the Eau Fraiche maybe overpowered my nose a little bit, and I've just been a little kind of stuffy, really dry, a little dehydrated. I've been fasting for Ramadan, so that with kind of like the pollen and the spring coming into full effect, my nose has been a little bit stuffed up lately. So I did give this one another chance, gave it a full wearing, and this one right here, I did finally, the smell kind of unlocked. There was a moment of like a threshold that I crossed where I could smell it. It is very light, however, so that is one point against this fragrance. It's light fragrances aren't really my cup of tea. However, I've yet to get a full wearing of this in the really high heat of summer, where I think this could shine. Actually, that like light, airy quality to it, I think would be good for those like exceptionally hot days where you might want to reach for something that isn't quite so suffocating or thick. Just because the heat is just going to be overbearing, and you know, you want something a little bit more light and refreshing. So I think this one could really do well in that high heat kind of situation. I've got a couple of like 80-degree days on the forecast coming up for me where I'm at, so I'm going to try wearing this one again next week during those high heat days. But overall, this was it's definitely a very nice, very natural lemon. So like a really nice fresh squeezed lemon is kind of the main accord that I got out of this one. There's kind of like some white florals going on in there as well. I did look at the note breakdown. I think there was like sage, geranium. I think those are the only two that are coming to mind off the top of my head. There is an aquatic feel to this one, however. There's no aquatic notes listed on at least Fragrantica, but it is an aquatic fragrance, so it's like a slightly aquatic, almost like a slightly aquatic John Varvatos Artisan Pure. You get that really nice kind of white floral citrus, and then there's this a little bit salty aquatic vibe going on. Surprisingly unisex, I would say, for a you know, aquatic fragrance. Usually those are like the fresh shower gel kind of sporty fragrances for men. So yeah, the quality's there. The ingredients are exceptionally good. But yeah, the only knock I had against this one was that it's very light and, you know, intimate and not much sillage. The projection and longevity were both so-so. I got about like 4 to 5 hours out of this one. But like I said, I'm really waiting to see how this reacts in the high heat. So overall, kind of like, I don't want to say I'm on the fence. I do like this fragrance, but I don't know if it's a love for me just yet. But I do think that'll change when I get a chance to wear it in the high heat. And then, so why Eau Fraiche? Also kind of on the fence with this one. I feel like it's a little bit youthful. I think I've only tried the EDP and the Eau Fraiche from this line so far. I haven't tried the Eau de Toilette or the Parfums. But overall, this DNA just strikes me as a little bit youthful. It's got like this very kind of sweet, fruity, kind of candied, fruity vibe to it. I don't really get the fresh lemonade that people describe this one as. It's more of like a, I mean, it does kind of smell like a lemonade to a certain degree, but the citruses don't really come off as like a fresh squeezed lemon like I did get in the Pacific Rock Moss here. This one kind of struck me as more like a Minute Maid quick mix powdered lemonade. It's just very sugary, not something that felt very natural. So both this and YEDP have this certain kind of syrupy syntheticness, but this one is a little bit less heavy than the EDP for me. But overall, this one was surprisingly a lot more woody than I was expecting. And then as it kind of developed on my skin, I got hit with this very ice cold quality. In the mid, like the opening just came off as kind of like a candied sweet woody sensation, and then as it got to developing a little bit more, it got really cold, and I looked up the notes, and that seems to be coming from like a trifecta of what was it, mint, geranium, and juniper berries. So all three of those kind of like came together and gave it this really nice icy cool blast. But like I said, the lemon in here, I couldn't even really detect that it was lemon. I kind of felt like it might have even, it had some similarities to the apple that I got in the EDP. So it's just like a candied fruit. It reminds me more of like something like a lemon head or a lemon Sour Patch Kid instead of like a fresh squeezed lemon. So that's what gave it a little bit of a youthful vibe to me. And then there's also like a slight powdery, fresh like laundry kind of sensation going on as well. It's like a woody, candied, fresh laundry. But also very brisk, very cold. So yeah, I do get that ice cool lemonade, but it's not fresh squeeze. It's definitely more of like a pre-mix powder, I would say, is like the kind of sensation that I got off of this one. So that was, I guess, my first impressions on these two fragrances. They're both, I'm not in love with either of them, but I'm looking forward to wearing them more in the high heat, and I don't hate either one of them just yet. I think this one, like I said, is a little bit youthful for my personal tastes, but we'll see how it pans out in the summertime. I think that cooling sensation will make it kind of like a practical wear, something that you know, I might fall in love with for its utility in keeping me cool. And this one, like I said, just really great quality and kind of like an aquatic version of John Bravados Artisan Pure. But the, you know, the lightness of it, or the intimacy of it, is just something that is not my cup of tea either. So I think the scent profile on both of these are great. The presentation is great. Longevity on both of them is only mediocre from my first wearings with them. This one I'm only on my hand, but overall I do have hopes for both of them, and I don't think they're terrible fragrances. And I think they're probably appropriately priced. I think this one has been discontinued, so it might be getting more expensive, but we'll see in the future if I have these on any summer lists moving forward. But that was my first impressions with them so far. I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.